They say a bank is a bank is a bank, but is a bank really just a bank? My name is Werner Hattingh, and in this episode of Money and Medicine, I'm going to discuss some guidelines and the importance of helping you to choose the right bank. Right up next.
This episode of Money and Medicine is proudly sponsored by the PPS Health Professions Indemnity. For more information on PPS, please do go on our website.
Now, from what we've seen and what we've been learning over the years and from personal experience, there's a number of things that you have to consider. First of all is the type of accounts that the bank offer. Some banks only offer specific accounts, and other banks offer accounts which are joined in one. Now, as a simple example, you get financial institutions where their check account and their credit account is combined in one. Other financial institutions, you have a separate credit account and a separate check account. It's all dependent on person to person, whether you're going to choose the combined account or you want to have the separate account. I think that's very important because it can have an effect on your budget at the end of the day. The second thing that you have to need to consider is credit card terms. So if you decide to take a credit facility with the bank, have a look at how many days you get offered free interest in terms of repaying that card. Now, as an example, some institutions offer you no interest-free days, other institutions offers you 45 days, and other people offer you 55 days. It's very important that you understand how many interest-free days you have on your credit card, because you don't want to incur credit and then you run out of that time period, and then all of a sudden you are paying very high interest on the credit that you've basically used on that card. Another important thing to consider from my experience is the digital platforms. It's highly recommended that you partner with a bank where they have a very good digital platform that is user-friendly, that is easy to use, where there's no hiccups that can make life difficult for you, where you can basically transact in terms of moving money from one account to another account, where you can make instant payments, where you can look at your balances, where you can look at your statements, where you can potentially buy airtime, topping up electricity at home. A lot of financial institutions offer fantastic digital platforms, but from my experience, it is a deal breaker. It is very frustrating. It becomes very difficult if you are in a position where you immediately need to act and make a decision and make a payment to someone, and that platform doesn't allow you to do so. So consider and do some research on the digital platform, the apps, read the reviews on the internet, and see what the actual consumers have to say. That brings me to the next point, and that's the availability of ATMs and branches. Some people don't pay a lot of attention to this. They merely look into the status and brand of the specific bank which they are associated with, but they don't consider specific branches and ATMs. Again, from a personal experience, that's very important. I have been faced in my life, and many of my clients have been faced in their life, where they physically had to go into a branch. Now, if you decide to partner with a specific bank where their branches are not easily accessible, it can become a problem to you, because in some instances you might be forced to draw cash, and if you draw cash from a different bank's ATM, you are going to have a cost implication, because they will charge you additional fees on that withdrawal. Then from a rewards perspective, certain institutions do offer great rewards, such as free airport lounges, depending on where you travel, locally or internationally, and it can become very convenient and handy. I recently traveled to Cape Town with my wife and 2 children. We had to be at the airport 2 hours before our flight. That was announced to us. And the lounge just made it more comfortable for us to basically sit there and wait, as to us having to sit in front of the departure gate, which is a lot of times very overcrowded and very inconvenient. But those are not deal breakers. I know certain banks also offer cashbacks and certain financial tools that you can benefit from. But yes, I would recommend definitely having a look into those rewards, but that shouldn't be a deal breaker why you choose to partner with a bank. Another important thing to consider is if you're a medical doctor and you apply for private banking with an institution, look at what their offering is from a preferential interest rate perspective. A lot of banks, because of the risk profile and your professional status, you do qualify for certain preferential rates, such as, by way of an example, on interest rates, on car finance. A lot of institutions give you a very high chance of qualifying for a prime -1 interest rate, whereas other institutions won't give you that preferential rate, and you will pay more for a vehicle if you finance it through them. So have a look at their preferential rates on car finance as well as home finance. If you decide to purchase a property, then it's a good idea to look at what their offering is. In summary, my recommendation a lot of the time to clients is I would only consider joining a professional bank and get a private banking account in one of two instances. First of all, if I consider buying a vehicle, because then I would like to ideally qualify for the preferential rates they offer. Alternatively, if I decide to buy a property, to get the preferential rate on then. If you are not planning to buy a property and you are not planning to buy a car, it's not always beneficial to go for private banking because there's a lot of benefits that will be offered to you which you won't be using, and you will pay a monthly fee for that, which is something to consider. I'm also aware of the fact that there's additional credit facilities being offered to especially medical professionals when they start out working to help them get through the first month of internship without having a credit score. Now, if you are an individual who don't have any savings available and you don't have any money at your disposal that can help you to get through the first month of internship, it is a good idea to then consider potentially take a private banking account with an institution that offers you a credit facility, because that credit facility would then immediately give you access to funds which can help you pay for fuel, groceries, and all the normal lifestyle expenses that you're going to have within that first month. I must, however, mention that you need to be very careful if you decide to take such a credit facility. And the reason why I say this is because a lot of medical professionals basically start out their careers in debt, because they would go and use the full credit facility within their first month of internship, and when their first salary gets paid in, they are already in debt, and they are going to be forced to start repaying debt, which is very difficult to get out in some instances. This is a very difficult thing that I'm going to say now, and I want to warn you against it. We have also seen people take memberships with more than one banking institution to get their hands on more credit. Do not do that. It might sound like a good idea, but we get into massive debt within your first month, and you are going to struggle to get out of that. You're going to be on the back foot. You're going to be at a disadvantage compared to your peers, and it's going to be very difficult to get you out of that position. To answer the question whether a bank is a bank is a bank, it all depends on what your lifestyle is. I still have a Capitec account. It's got very low fees. It's a user-friendly account. It's got a user-friendly digital platform that I like to use. But I also do have a professional bank account with a different institution where I finance my properties and my vehicles. I hope you found this video useful. If there's any information that you need to give you a little bit more direction and guidance, please feel free to reach out to the Money and Medicine team by going to our website, www.moneyandmedicine.co.za, and we will be more than happy to assist you to make an informed decision in terms of choosing the right bank. Disclaimer, we are not bankers. It's only a recommendation that we can do to you based on the information you see with us and factual information we have at our disposal. If you have found this useful, also please share it with your friends and colleagues to give them some insight and guidance and to help them learn from other people's mistakes and to make an informed decision. Until next time, plan the plan.